Welcome to the Hutcheson House Reacts. I'm your host, Leah Marlene, and that's a true story. Trump 2028, baby. Trump is running for a third term. It's official, according to the ladies on The View, and we know they always tell the truth. We're going to be covering that along with USDA issues a chilling statement regarding SNAP benefits and the government shutdown. I will be covering something that it seems that the Democrats and Republicans on both sides of the aisle seem to be missing, except for the Republicans in the Trump administration. Praise God. Trump 2028. Am I right? We're going to make America great again. Let's check in with the ladies on The View. I know you've missed them. I know. That's why I'm making this video. I know you were like, Leah, we've got to check in with Whoopi. Whoopi is a hoot. What is going on with old Whoopi? Let's see what she has to say. They still think Trump is a magician, disappearing people. It's too bad they lie so much, isn't it?
Who told us he was going to be a dictator on day one, and damn if he isn't a dictator. He got back in.
Oh, Whoopi already starting off with jokes. He actually said that he wouldn't be a dictator on day one. But we know Whoopi's full of jokes. Go on, Whoopi. You're hilarious. You know, it's so bad because she used to be such a talented, bright star. But I guess all this success has made her super bitter. It's interesting how that happens, isn't it? It's too bad. What a shame.
To office, and his former chief strategist, Steve Bannon, just added more fuel to the fire. Take a look.
Well, he's going to get a third term. So Trump 28, Trump is going to be president 28, and people just ought to get accommodated with that.
So what about the 22nd Amendment?
I think Steve Bannon is on the campaign trail for him. What do you think? Adding fuel to the fire, or is he helping Gavin Newsom with the fires? Because Gavin Newsom thinks that you put out fire with fire. So either he's on the campaign trail for Trump or he's helping Newsom. Either way, Steve Bannon is also a card. Let's hear what he has to say.
There's many different alternatives. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28.
I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know. But I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me.
One theory on how you might try to serve a third term.
Let me interpret for the people in the way back. See, President Trump doesn't rule out anything. He understands that we're not guaranteed tomorrow. President Trump is a realist. Praise God. Thank God we have a president that understands the way the world works. But see, if we're in a national disaster, which actually it has been with all the criminals running the show and fentanyl faces all over the place. I mean, just the, fentanyl faces. It's really sad, actually. I send them prayers, I send them love, and I call 911 many times. There's sirens right now, as a matter of fact, because fentanyl faces run rampant all over Colorado, where I live, but all over the United States, which a lot of Democrats don't seem to care about. They say, no, it's poverty. How do you think all the fentanyl faces are getting the fentanyl? They're getting them from criminals. No, but crime is down, even though there's outdoor death investigations every single day in these blue run cities, especially. But I digress. So yeah, if it's a terrible situation, he may run again. But you know what? I really don't think so. I think he's trolling them big time. He is the master at trolling these reporters. It's hilarious.
So you could run as the vice president.
Yeah, I'd be allowed to do that. I think the people wouldn't like that. It's too cute. It wouldn't be right.
And he said it wouldn't be right, but look at Whoopi. It's so concerning. It's so concerning. And plus, we've got some really good people lined up. And President Trump knows that, but he loves this. He loves the constipation face on Whoopi Goldberg. So there's that.
So, just so we're clear, you have nothing to say about any of this. Just understand that. Okay?
According to you, Whoopi? I love how they're the authority on everything. And look how happy her colleagues are. Such a happy group for making millions on this show. You know, I think they actually want President Trump to go for another term because it's the only way they get ratings is if they talk about him. Their Trump derangement syndrome is what gives them ratings.
Republicans have pretty much given him free rein up till now. Are they going to let this happen? Are y'all going to let it happen? Just asking.
Listen, there's certain people in Trump's orbit who, when they tell you what they're going to do, I really listen. And I would put Steve Bannon at the top of this list. He's somebody who has been one of the senior most advisors to Trump since the first time that he ran. He predicted the events around January 6th, the efforts to overturn the election. And I feel crazy because I feel like a conspiracy theorist talking about this. I asked Justice Sotomayor when she was here, and people were like, oh, that's so wild. But here's the thing. This is a person who's been right before saying it. The president himself isn't ruling it out. Now, what I would say is this. There's two ways to do it, but I think he's going to go for the third way, which isn't technically the way you would do it. You would either need a supermajority in Congress to pass a change to the Constitution, or you would need 2/3 of states calling for a constitutional convention to consider making this change. I sort of think that he's going to try to challenge it through the courts on the grounds that it wouldn't be consecutive terms. And so to kind of parse the language within the Constitution to say that he actually could do this. And with the makeups of the courts where a lot of judges are in power because Trump put them there, it's possible that they perhaps could rule in his favor. So I say don't rule out what he is saying. I also know Donald Trump well enough to believe this is not a guy who's going to be a lame duck after the midterms. He's not going to be like, oh, let all the center of gravity shift to J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio while he fades into the distance. So it's something to keep an eye on. I find it concerning.
I think. Oh, do you, Alyssa? Do you? Where's your MAGA hat, by the way, Alyssa? You said that if he struck a peace deal at all, that you would wear a MAGA hat. But I guess we can't trust these ladies on The View, can we? But we're supposed to trust Steve Bannon, who was fired by Trump. Okay, got it.
To Alyssa's point, I always thought, okay, the 22nd Amendment is so clear. You learn in law school, no president can run twice because it really came into effect in the 40s after LBJ had like 4 terms.
Roosevelt.
And FDR had 4 terms, and then you had like the other.
Oops, I guess she didn't learn that so well in law school. Oopsies.
When Truman, who didn't run for re-election but kind of said that he could. And so we put this into the Constitution for a reason. But when you asked Sotomayor that question, she said, well, it hasn't been tested. And that told me everything that I needed to know because I think that she is a very faithful constitutionalist. I think that she also understands that the Constitution can be interpreted as a living and breathing thing.
But they always talk about the Constitution, but they don't even know that in the Constitution, it doesn't say anything about us being a democracy. It says that we're a republic, but yet they're always saying we're fighting for the democracy. Nowhere in the Constitution does it even speak of us being a democracy. So it's just curious. These folks are curious. We know they're truth tellers, though. The View, the one view that they are allowed to have, the one very, very strict view. And if anyone veers from that view, you'll be fired in their democracy. Right? View, ladies?
As opposed to just sort of this thing that was written eons ago. And so I think, you know, many people who say there's no way he would do it. Well, those are the same people that said the Supreme Court is never going to get rid of Roe v. Wade. Those are the people that said things like he's never going to have these masked men disappearing people all over the country. Those are the same.
There it is. And there it is. Yeah, he's not having masked men disappearing people. He's having magicians disappearing people all over the country in this wonderful magician show. No, he's actually not. And the fact that these people are allowed to continue to lie about ICE in this way is despicable. It's so sad. I was recently going to a new church, and they had not the regular pastor of the church. So I'm going to still give this church a chance, but I don't know, because they were going down that path of, you know, ICE is tearing people away from their families. What about the children that they're saving? What about the children that are being trafficked? You can't constantly say this one-sided view of things and then talking about children dying in other parts of the country or other parts of the world rather, but never mentioning the children that are harmed here in the United States. We have some serious problems here. And in just a moment, another reason why I want to play these ladies today is because, you know, Anna Navarro thinks that she's going to have a big applause break moment, which she doesn't. It's funny though, because you can see she's ready for the big applause break, but it doesn't happen. Maybe they forgot the cue card to tell the audience to, you know, rear to their feet in applause. But she explains how does he strike these peace deals around the world, but then here in the United States he can't even strike a deal with the Democrats. Exactly. That's what I've been saying. That's the problem, Democrats. But she doesn't even get it. Any doodle McNoodle.
People that said, oh my goodness, are you kidding? He's never going to get rid of the Rose Garden. He's never going to get rid of the East Wing. He's done everything that people thought.
And he's not getting rid of the East Wing. He's making it better. He's going to make the East Wing more beautiful again so that people like Barack Obama don't have to be in a tent. How about that? So that you can actually have a big, beautiful ballroom so that when Nancy Pelosi and everybody come in for their steak dinner, they can actually sit in a beautiful ballroom, which nobody will be complaining about when they have it, right? They're only complaining about it now. And have you seen the list of donors? These are all donors that you and I know very well, lots of huge companies, and these are not, ballroom is not being funded by taxpayers. But you know what is being funded by taxpayers? Illegal immigrants who have come over here. Now, this is the loophole that they never like to mention. They say that it's illegal for illegal immigrants to get health care. This is the loophole. What happens is, like in Colorado, Governor Polis, they give it to the illegal immigrants by getting this money from the federal government. That is why they've stopped, because we've run out of money in Colorado to continue giving. That's why they stopped giving the money to the SNAP benefits and to the people who really need it, including immigrants who've come here legally, by the way, if you actually care about those people, and American citizens. But regardless, 40 million plus Americans who actually need those recipients. And in a moment, I'm going to get to the part where both Democrats and Republicans really kind of irk me off because they're both missing the mark, in my opinion, except for the people in the Trump administration. And hopefully they will strike a deal before November 1st. But let's get back to these ladies because they're just such great comic relief.
That he would never do. I actually have come to the conclusion that he is most definitely going to try to remain in power because remember that East Wing, it's going to take a long time to build that. He is hooking up the White House because he doesn't plan on leaving it.
Well,
I don't think he plans.
Oh, they haven't seen how Donald Trump moves. I guess they don't really get how President Trump moves. Have you not noticed? They haven't been paying attention. It's not like the other administrations. This isn't going to take 300 years to build. He builds things. See, when President Trump has challenges, he builds. When other people have challenges, they go to addictions. They go to maybe gambling addiction or a corn addiction or maybe drug or alcohol addiction, or maybe letting the drug cartels come in and have everybody have fentanyl face addiction. President Trump, he builds. That's what people don't understand about him. He builds. So when he's under a lot of stress, he creates things. He creates things even more. He was $900 million in debt. He created something big, big, big. So a guy like that, when he's under stress, he creates bigger and better and better. So that ballroom, I bet you anything, it's going to be ready. It's going to be ready soon, probably by Christmas. It'll be ready by Christmas. Definitely probably by next year, but I would say sooner than that. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was ready this year. The way this man moves, seriously. She hasn't met him. She doesn't understand.
Well, I told y'all that years ago. That he had he was not going anywhere. He said it. He said, I want to be president for life.
Yeah.
I heard him say it. I watched his lips move, and I thought, he means this.
Yeah.
You know, the ironic part is, though, there were a lot of people who thought Joe Biden was too old to run.
He wasn't too old to run. He was too old to walk.
To these countries, and he loves he wants the parades, he wants the arches, he wants the ballrooms, he wants to be an emperor, he wants to be an authoritarian. Paying no attention.
No, he wants America to be great again. We're allowed to have celebrations instead of just the fentanyl parades and the hate America and the burning of the flags. He wants to celebrate America again. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. He's mentioned many times he doesn't want to be king. He thanks the No Kings protest because he's like, good thing. I thought somebody took my place. I don't want to be king. There is no king. thank God the no kings did their thing because somebody was trying to take my place. But still, I'm president. Thank you very much. These people have just completely lost the plot, but they're still on the air and they still make millions being really upset at everybody. So I guess they're laughing all the way to the bank. I don't know. Whatever. But here I am commenting on them. So God bless America, right? We're still free to do that.
To the Constitution, that's the way Ortega does it. That's
Look at Sunny. Look at Sunny. She's such a cheerful person. Sunny. Gosh, the name of her name is just so ironic, isn't it? Cloudy, Sunny. Look at her. What a charmer.
the way Chavez did it. That's the way Maduro does it.
Yeah.
That's the way Putin does it.
Putin's been around forever.
Right. So, you know, so I would say do not fall asleep on this. And Republicans, if you don't want every single Republican, elected Republican should be getting asked right now, would you be in favor or against Donald Trump running for a third term? And if they say that, and if they don't say anything, if they don't answer, vote them out.
It honestly doesn't matter what they say, because we also heard that on when President
Oh, tell us, Sarah. Tell us how it is, Sarah.
Trump, if he was elected, he would not pardon the January 6th violent offenders. And the first thing, he barely sat down in the seat and was like, yeah, get them all out. Like, so I don't believe anyone, regardless of what they say. I tend to believe that this would be stopped even in the courts, because the spirit of it was that someone doesn't have that kind of.
That's literally all they have anymore. January 6th, January 6th. We don't care about Hunter Biden. We don't care about the laptop. We don't care about people being unalived. We don't care about assassinations of people doing free speech. We don't care about any of that. What we care about is the plants, and well, they don't talk about that. The actual plants that were at January 6th. But they're like, January 6th, but that's what we're holding on to is January 6th, which was all a big fat hoax. Of course, there's always bad seeds in every group. And so he doesn't want to hold up the entire system on these bad seeds, because we got some other really bad people in the country who are actually harming children, and they don't mention any of that. They don't mention all the children that have been found. That's like a moot point to them. They're like, kids, whatever, who cares, right? They never mention these people. They never mention the children that have been saved. They never mention the children that have been saved from trafficking because ICE has gone in. They never mention any of that at all. But what do they mention? January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. It's just, it's almost become laughable at this point. It is laughable.
Of power, whether consecutive or not. So I would hope that if it goes to the highest court, it would hold. But 80% of Americans oppose this. 80%, only 18% support it, which it's not a popular move. But I would also say it's coming up right now to look away from what's not popular for him right now, which is this shutdown. The shutdown. We're going to be talking about eventually the well, the Epstein thing is forever the umbrella that we run from. But we've got Epstein, the shutdown. We're having air traffic controllers that are going into whatever week of not being paid. Holidays are around the corner. Every person that relies on food stamps can't eat in a few weeks. Like, all this stuff's going on. So this kind of, I do think they're trolling with the timing of the conversation. We've got a minute. We don't need to be talking about it right now. But it's more popular than what's actually going on the ground.
And can I add one thing? Because Sarah makes an important point. All three of the scenarios I laid out would still require him to stand for election. And so there would still be the power that the voters would have. So say if the Supreme Court ruled and he was able to be the Republican nominee for a third time, there would still, I believe, be an election in this country.
What about
This
if
is
he
why I love
militarizes
y'all.
everything?
I'm not going
What if he
there today.
militarizes everything? He's sending.
Whoopi is so condescending. This is why I love you guys, because you're so stupid, just like me and all of our audience. I'm sorry. It's so, the whole panel is so condescending. These women, God bless them. They have an audience. So God bless them.
The National Guard, and what if
He
does
is
that?
not. He's going to do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
He's going to try everything he can do, and he doesn't care what we think.
No, that's the truest thing she's ever said. No, Whoopi, he really doesn't care what you think, Whoopi. He's going to do what's best for the American citizens. He's going to do what's best. Now, I do have a great idea for President Trump. Why don't those Doge checks that you were thinking about passing out to Americans from all the money that you did save from all that corruption, send that November 1st to especially all the SNAP recipients. Just send the $5,000 to everybody receiving SNAP. Do that. That would be wonderful, right? From all that corruption, that wouldn't even be a scratch on the surface from what you've saved from all that corruption that you found. So go ahead and do that for the SNAP recipients. I know that's going to make some Republicans really mad. That's going to make a lot of people mad. But you know what? This is where I'm going to get to my point about where Republicans and Democrats are missing the mark on this. And I think Trump could really one up everyone, which he is the master chess player at all this. So maybe he's got something up his sleeve about that anyhow.
He's going to do this. He's going to write something and say, and he'll say, I found a loophole, and so I can do this. Not consecutive, done with.
Well, at least she admits he's smart. He can find things. He's smart, and he knows how to read and figure things out. Yes, she's correct on that.
Really matter. If he wants to do it and there's no opposition, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
There needs to be opposition. People have to make decisions around the country about who they're voting into office. Are they
like when they had Kamala just slip in there for the Democrat nominee? Yeah, we get what you're saying.
voting into office people who really want the Constitution to actually work for us? Or are they sitting tight thinking, okay, this is going to work for somebody soon. Hope it's me.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to know until we know. And that's always the bitch. We'll be right back.
They all think that they're so above everybody. They think they're above each other and above everybody. Okay, let's get to the SNAP business. Oh, snap.
Shutdown drags on. The USDA issued a chilling statement that the well has run dry on funds for the 40 million plus Americans who rely on SNAP benefits to feed their families. And both sides of the aisle are pointing fingers at each other. Take a look.
If Democrats continue to hold Americans hostage, there will not be enough funds to provide SNAP benefits for more than 40 million Americans on November 1st. That is next week. Democrats are solely responsible for all of this unnecessary pain. Why are they doing it? To give taxpayer-funded health care benefits to illegal aliens, some of whom are violent criminals.
Is there a point at which it becomes too great to justify continuing the shutdown?
Well, there is an urgent need to reopen the government, which is why we continue to demand that Republicans sit at the negotiating table so we can enact a spending agreement that's bipartisan in nature. That's what we've called for from the very beginning.
Point out Hakeem Jeffries' weird hand gestures. Him and Gavin Newsom must have gone to the school of hand gestures. Hakeem reminds me, have you ever played the improv game where you have your hands behind your back and then somebody else has their arms through your, like armhole right there, and they're your arms? That's what it reminds me of when he's like, and then anyway, it's so goofy because yes, I agree with Caroline Leavitt. This is the Democrats' fault. Now, the ladies here are going to explain to everybody that that's illegal. Well, it is illegal, but they're working a loophole. Governor Polis of Colorado, the state that I live in, they're working this loophole because they need that government, the federal government funding, so they can continue to give to these illegal immigrants. I know that for a fact. You want to believe it or not, or whether that makes you mad or not, it's just a fact. So the loophole is no, they can't get actual SNAP benefits. What they do is they get the benefits from the extra funding. So the states give them the benefit, and then the funding comes in from the federal. And so when the federal shuts it off, then the states don't have that extra funding. Now the Democrats are willing to let their own people suffer, their own Democrats who support them suffer, and then blame Trump. Now, this is where I have a problem with Democrats and Republicans on both sides. I don't see the Trump administration doing this, and this is where I'm going to, again, give them credit. But it's where I see some people on Republican side saying they do not deserve these SNAP recipients. They're just feeding off the system, and they don't deserve it, and blah, blah. And that's where American citizens are turning on each other. There are a lot of American citizens who do work very hard and receive those benefits. Now, are there some criminals? Yes, there's criminals in every group. There's criminals at a high level. There's criminals at a low level. There's criminals everywhere, right? But I would venture to say a lot of people who are on those benefits, there's 40 million people. So I don't have the stats, but just in my heart of hearts, I think there's a lot of people, because I've known a lot of people who are receiving these benefits who really need them, who are working, or who maybe are on disability and can't work, or who they can't have their kid in childcare because they're trying to take care of their kid and the schooling system is so corrupt, or they lost their business because of COVID, because of the shutdowns. So it's not to say keep crying over spilt milk and keep, oh, it's somebody else's fault. It's not to keep passing the buck. And that's what some of these Democrats who are high on their horse, and I've seen their TikTok videos and they're in their mansions going, who cares? And I don't feel sorry for them and blah, blah. And that's where own American citizens are turning on them. And then some of the SNAP recipients, the bottom of the barrel, low level people who want to also blame the Republicans. See, these are where they want, it's like Lord of the Flies. And this is where I disagree with both sides of the bottom feeders who are just blaming. And that's where this is what I don't agree. And I'm going to blame the Democrats in power because I feel like they want that. They want the low-level bottom feeders to go, it's Trump's fault, and we're going to loot and riot and rob people, because I saw TikTok videos of that. We're going to rob people and rob your house and rob the store and rob everybody, and you better watch your back if you voted for Trump because we're going to rob you. Meanwhile, some of those people might be SNAP recipients. See what I'm saying? So like it's Lord of the Flies. You're turning on each other. That's not okay. And then all to go, it's Trump's fault. And that's really what the Democrats, in my opinion, are after. They want everybody to have this Lord of the Fly mentality to go, it's their fault. When really, if the Democrats just said, you know what, we're going to put Americans first. We're not going to sacrifice American citizens, whether they're immigrants who've come here legally and they're receiving these benefits. They're American citizens. American citizens are American citizens and they're receiving these benefits. So whoever's receiving these benefits, they deserve that regardless. And otherwise we need to fix the system. And the Republicans who are mad at that, then they need to go and fix the system. If people are receiving those illegally, they need to fix the system. But we can't just keep taking care of people who we know are receiving benefits illegally. And that's where the Trump administration is correct. And that is why the shutdown is happening. And that's where the Democrats are wrong, because they're saying, no, we're going to sacrifice and let it be Lord of the Flies down here and let all the bottom feeders. And, I'm not talking socioeconomic status, because again, I see these people in the mansions yelling at the people down below, whatever. I'm talking mentality. The mentality of people being like, they're not even trying, they're not even working. You don't know what people's situations are. You don't know if some of these criminals stole and robbed, maybe took the equity of their house and they lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's why they're on the SNAP benefits. You don't know if they got in a car wreck because one of these criminals rammed into them. So many people are ramming in. The crime has run rampant. There's a million different reasons why people have lost money, especially in the last few years with the shutdowns and the crime and the drugs. So to just blame somebody for being on these benefits is not right on either side. And then also just to blame Trump, who's saying we need to stop the illegal activity, okay, and help the American citizens. Now, again, my solution checks first to the SNAP recipients, period. The Democrats aren't going to come to the table and talk and stop this illegal activity. This is what we're going to do. We're going to send to all the SNAP recipients $5,000 Doge check. That's my solution. And I think the Democrats and Republicans need to stop doing the Lord of the Flies activity. But hey, that's just my opinion.
That is not true.
It's inaccurate.
It's inaccurate.
Yeah.
No, it is true. It's just she's not explaining it to the people who don't understand in the way back, who don't understand the loophole at play. Let me know in the comments. Do you understand how these illegal immigrants who've entered the country illegally are receiving benefits? Because I know for a fact this is happening. I know firsthand that this is happening. Do you understand how this is happening? And Governor Polis of Colorado, he's put out tweets explaining how it happens. So he doesn't even try to hide the fact that it happens. But then in the next tweet, he will try to cover it up, because then he realizes some people don't understand it and he doesn't want to let the mirage down. But let me know in the comments. Do you understand how this loophole is working? Do you understand what Caroline Leavitt is saying? Because that is really what this shutdown is about. And the Democrats, in my opinion, are holding American citizens hostage and using them as the chess pawn in this game. And that's not right.
It's against the law. It's illegal. That's not what's happening. So just know that. No illegal aliens, people, whatever you're going to call folks. They're not entitled.
And no undocumented people here receive these funds. And I think that's what's so despicable, because this is the Republican shutdown.
See, look at the look of disgust on her face. This is where Sunny is completely incorrect. But she's completely, what's the word? Not detached. Well, detached is a word, but she's just not, same thing, not connected to reality. I mean, she says that her son is training for the Olympics and she had to go in her very white neighborhood, as she describes, in her very well-to-do white neighborhood, which I'm sure is filled with mansions. I'm sure it's a gated community. She said she had to go to, on her own admission, she says that she had to go to the police department and say that her son will be jogging because he's training for the Olympics and not to go after him. I mean, that is how, I mean, she's really fallen into this mind control stuff. It's wild.
Mike Johnson sent everybody away on vacation, okay? This is a Republican shutdown. It's not a Democratic shutdown.
And anyway, if these Democrats really wanted to help, why don't they give up all their paychecks? But all the Democrats in power in politics, why don't they give up their paychecks during this shutdown to the people if they really care? Because they don't really care, right? That's what do you think about my idea about the Doge check? I think that'd be great. I know some Republicans would be really upset about that, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
And I think the most important thing that we need to realize is that, as you mentioned, Whoopi's 40 million Americans, that includes those that need it the most. We're talking about children, the elderly, and people with disabilities. And you know which states are affected the most? Red states are.
And actually, she's wrong with her face of disgust, because I just read a statistic. Do you know who is the most recipients of SNAP benefits? Is single mothers. Single mothers are the most, the highest statistic for recipients. It's 40% of single mothers receive the SNAP. I mean, yes, we need to look at why are there not fathers in the home? And that's a whole nother rabbit hole that we can go down, that people wanted to declare that Charlie Kirk was misogynist because he thought marriage is a good thing. Hey, I'm a single mom. I can attest to, I think marriage is a really good thing. I tell my daughter all the time, you know what? God brought me you, but really the right way to do it is to be married, to have a husband that can provide, and you both provide things for each other and for the marriage and for the family. But that's the way to do it, because it's really challenging as a single mom, business owner, and juggling a lot. I homeschool. I'm a single mom. It's very, very, very difficult. I'm doing it, but it's not easy. There's a place for a man in the family. There's nothing sexist about that. That is reality. If I could go back in time, I would do it totally different. I mean, I was immaculate conception with my daughter, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, I'm like Virgin Mary. The point is, I would have gotten married first. I wanted to do it that way first. It didn't work out that way first. And that's the other problem that I have with some Republicans who are like, well, you just did it the wrong way. You're an idiot. This is the Lord of the Flies. We gotta stop turning on one another and just turn on the Democrats instead. No, I'm just kidding. But there is a place for a man and a woman. The reason why some of these old-fashioned principles were in place is because it works. So we do need to look at those old-fashioned values again and revisit that. That doesn't make you misogynist or sexist or whatever. It's just because it works. So why is it that 40%? But we can't solve all that right now. That's just a fact.
I don't understand how Trump can go around the world trying to be a statesman. I don't understand how he can get Hamas and Israel to agree to a ceasefire for a conflict that's been going on for millennia. And then he comes here and behaves like a 40-year-old having a tantrum, putting out AI-generated memes. If he can go and put Hamas and Israel to sign a peace treaty, surely he can exert some leadership, show himself to be a precedent, get Republicans and Democrats, we are all Americans, to come into one room and craft together a deal on healthcare, on immigration, on the big problems that are afflicting this country. Yeah. And so start at home. Yeah. And the second thing I just want to say quickly.
That's where she thought her big applause would be. That was a big buildup that I gave you for all this time for nothing, right? But that's the exact point, Anna, is that he should be able to, but instead the only way he can get his point across is through memes. That's how he has to just talk to you guys. That's how he has to get his ideas across to you guys. That's his whole platform. That's why he won, was on immigration reform, healthcare reform. All of these things are why he won. To make America safe again, to make America healthy again, to make America wealthy again, to make America great again. This is why he won. This is what you guys don't understand. It's gone way over your head. You don't even acknowledge the fact that millions of people voted for him. You don't understand that. So instead he trolls you and he sends funny memes. But that it is the point. I mean, I actually agree with you on this. Why can't he talk to Democrats? Why can't Democrats negotiate with him? He can make peace deals all around the world, ending 8 wars in 8 months. But you guys will not talk to him. We cannot have peace in the United States, but you're worried about other countries. I'm worried about other countries too. I don't like people being unalive, as they say on YouTube, anywhere in the world. I don't like children suffering anywhere in the world. But we have to help the people here first before we can help anybody else. If your house is in shambles, you can't help other people. America has been in shambles. And now we're finally rehabilitating. We're finally, resuscitating America just a little bit. But the Democrats want to pull the rug out from underneath us in every which way. And when we rebuild anything and go, oh no, we should have fentanyl faces and tents built up, not big and beautiful and bright. No. Yes, we need to be big and beautiful and bright. That's why people want to be here. That's why people want to come here. That's why they'll flee other countries and break the law to come here. Because America is supposed to be the land of the free, the land of promise. And we haven't been, especially under the Biden administration. And so the Trump administration is trying to reform that. But the Democrats will not listen. And that's why we have been in a shutdown for 4 weeks. And that's why, once again, because of the Democrats, American citizens are suffering. And Ana Navarro doesn't get it. She just wants her applause break on The View while she's making millions of dollars, and then millions of Americans continue to suffer. I know, what do you think about this government shutdown? What do you think about my Doge check idea? Do you think that Trump is going to run in 2028? I mean, that's just hilarious to me. Trump is the master marketer. This guy, he is the king of the trolls. I'll give him that. He's not king of the United States, but he is king of the trolls. I never liked trolls at all. I think trolls are terrible. Until Trump. I mean, Trump is the king. He's the master at it because he beats them in their own game and he gets things done. If he was just trolling, I wouldn't like him, like Gavin Newsom or something, just trolling just to troll. No, he's trolling and he's getting things done, constantly moving forward, constantly building, constantly working to make America great again. I mean, I could go for 2028 just for some more rallies. Those were the best. We're gonna make America. I miss those. So let me know what you think in the comments. I haven't done a long video in a while. This was really fun. I don't know that I'll cover The View again in a while because those ladies are exhausting. But God bless you. If you stuck around all the way to the end, God bless you double, triple time. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.